we got a Dune Buggy, sand rail thing. Fix this bad boy up and then probably sell it because we don't have any real good use for a sand rail Dune Buggy, but it's a fun project to work on. This is her. She's got a 1300cc VW engine out of like an old Bug. I think it's a late 60s engine. It's a cool setup. Needs a lot of work to get it back up. We're gonna paint it up, fix the interior. It's gonna look perfect when we're done. That's the goal. Woo!
What are you starting on first?
I think I'm gonna start on the engine first. The engine, as of right now, I think it seized from setting, according to the guy we got it from. I'm gonna pull this thing apart. Probably gonna go all the way down and just do a small rebuild on it. Replace the parts that are bad and hopefully keep a lot of the parts if they're good parts in there. All right, Elle, what are you doing up here?
I'm just pulling this thing off, trying to look at the bearings and see. They don't look too bad. This thing's kind of bent. I don't know if you can see that, but pretty bent.
Well,
I think we might be able to just clean these up.
We might even be able to make one of these. This is just sheet metal. We could just trace this out and probably cut it if we had to, but their parts are very readily available. She's just gonna rebuild this hub a little bit here. Nice. Looks good, babe. All right, engine's off. Woo. Love how easy this thing is to work on. How's it going over there, Elle?
Goop.
Goop? That sounds scrumptious.
I'll let you have a whole lick.
Something pretty cool here. These bad boys look like they are brand new, these push rods. So I'm guessing that this engine was rebuilt fairly recently. The top end is looking spectacular on this side. The other side is a little rusty, so we'll see what kind of rust there. If it's just surface rust and we could sand it off, polish it up nice, we'll probably just keep the spring away the way it is. If not, we'll get some new springs. All right, I got the jugs off. These pistons look so nice. Assuming the other side's good, this one is pretty nice still. I mean, this one's done. You can see in there, but look at that rust. That's just a no-go right there. Anyway, we'll keep tearing this bad boy down, see what else we can find. Got the crankcase apart on this engine. It looks so good in here. I mean, there's no scoring at all on the bearings. I'm gonna take apart all the rods and look at these bearings here. The main issue that was wrong with this engine, these jugs, they're rusted out in there. That's why this engine wasn't running. We'll replace those and replace a few other parts, and this thing will be good to go. We got everything cleaned up now. We're just gonna tape it off and give it a quick coat of paint to clean it up and make it look nice. Polishing all this stuff takes a lot of work, and it's not really the look we're gonna go for on the paint job on this buggy. So we're just gonna go with a black paint for all this. That way it just looks really clean. It's gonna go really well with the paint job. So.
Sweet.
We got everything painted. Oop, we got almost everything painted.
Nobody saw that, man. That was really smooth.
All right, we got everything painted. It looks really good. I think it's gonna turn out great. This thing is gonna look great put together. I decided to get the parts in and be able to assemble.
Sweet, looks really good.
Yeah.
All right, we decided to try and paint the hubs green. This is gonna be our like accent color. Either gonna do the hubs green and the rims black, or the rims green and the hubs black, but we're gonna try this first.
Everything's dry on this, so I'm gonna take the tape off now and see what they look like. Well, we got these hubs painted yesterday, so we can check and see how they look with the black rims. I think it's gonna look pretty good, but we wanted just to make sure. We're gonna put it together, and also too, that makes it so we can roll this chassis around, and we're gonna roll it over to some water and get it all pressure washed off, and then start sanding so that we can then get to the painting on this thing.
All right, it looks pretty sweet, except for the red lug nuts. We should have painted those.
You still will?
Yeah, we're gonna paint these green and this black. Looks pretty good. I think we can leave the rims.
I think so, which is awesome because they put a pretty good job on them.
It looks cool on the back too, look at this.
Yeah, it does look good.
All right, we got it all cleaned up.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start tearing it down to the frame so we can sand it, right?
Yep, I think so. I think that's our plan as of right now. We're gonna start the disassembly process of the rest of the sand rail here. Front end's coming apart, rear end's coming apart, all these seats and steering wheels. Oh yeah, everything's not getting painted. Black is coming out.
All right, we got all the parts pulled off that we're wanting to, so that it's all cleared out and ready to be sanded down and painted. So that's what's next. Woo.
We got it all sanded, and we decided to pull it back out and pressure wash it once more before we start painting. I think we're at that point. We might have a little bit of touch up to do. Once we pressure wash it, we'll kind of be able to see, and maybe we'll hit a few spots and then wipe them down.
It was kind of a chore lifting it on this trailer.
Yeah, it's not too heavy. It probably weighs about 400, but I mean, it's too much for 2 people to pick up.
I think it's all ready to paint. We taped off anything that we didn't want painted. We decided to go with a rhino liner instead of just a black paint because the little bumps and stuff cover up all the little flaws. Just go on a lot smoother and look really good. Alright, I got it all sanded up and ready. We're gonna go ahead and paint this one green. So this is the gas tank. Hopefully it looks really sweet.
All right, working on the engine again. Got it all cleaned up really nice. Into the fun part, putting it back together. I think what I'm gonna do is build a little stand for this thing. I'd like to set it up on end. And so I got some of this scrap 2x4. I'm gonna cut this stuff up and build a quick little stand for the engine. Then I can start putting it all together. All right, engine stand is done. This is gonna be perfect to work on this thing and not have it tipping all around. And this way I don't have to pull out the head studs. They pull out extremely easy. And if I can keep them in, it's better than trying to mess with all that and breaking out a bunch of inserts. This is gonna be the nicest way to do it, I think.
Alright, so this is the last big thing we gotta paint really, and then just little green stuff. Got it all cleaned up. We decided not to do the rhino liner on this. Instead we're using the Rust-Oleum 2x coverage. It works really good and I think it'll look better.
I might have forgotten to set the timing when I put this whole thing together. So right as I got the last head on, so I went back through the whole thing and I reset timing in it. Now we are almost good. Unfortunately, I forgot the little air vent plate. It's gotta be there. I can't put that on with the head on. I have head off so I can get the push rod tubes up. The head has to come off one more time. I've only done it twice. It could be worse. It's coming along though and it looks great. These engines just look so cool. And I'm just now adjusting some valves, making sure that the valves don't overheat. They need a little bit of a gap in between the spring and the top of the rocker arm there. There needs to be a little bit of a gap. That way the valve and the rocker arm have a little bit of time to cool down. They disconnect for a second and then reconnect. If they're too big, you get that ticking or tapping sound. And if it's too small, it overheats. Perfect. Okay.
Looking really good, babe.
Ready to put the valve cover on. Spark plug's got to go in. I got oil pump. We got a distributor and different caps, and the main part is all done. It is all finished up.
Are we gonna get it all put together today?
We're gonna try. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but we're gonna be pretty darn close, I think.
I think we're gonna get it.
The whole thing put together for real this time.
So I've been painting all the green stuff. We ran out of the other can, what we were using before. So we went with a cheaper brand, and it's actually the same color, going on way nicer. What we do with the seats is that rhino line where the fiberglass is, and hopefully that will make it not, you know, it gets all like sandpapery.
Yeah, it seems to have a good, it has a really nice coat over it.
Here we go, I'm gonna do green on top. We're getting close on the green.
We got the engine pretty much where we want it. It's ready to go in the back of the Bug. Now it's time to finish off this rear axle here. We just got to do rear brakes, and we got a whole new kit to refresh all the brakes, and so that's what we're gonna do next. And then from there we will put it on the sand rail. We put the front end back together, and we put the transmission and the rear end back on. Woo!
All right, we got her on all fours.
Yeah.
Good. Transmission's in. We just got to mount the engine.
We accidentally ripped the boot, which sucks, but at least it's a cheap part we broke. The brake drums are pretty stripped out, so we're probably gonna get some new brake drums for the back.
We gotta paint the shocks and put those on, stuff like that, but it's on the tires.
Woo! It's really coming together. Engine's done, tires are on, back tires are gonna take a little more, but it's in a really good place right now, looking really good.
Painted all the stuff, we just gotta put it all on. It's mostly just putting it together, which is the really fun part.
Yeah. What I really like about building these types of vehicles, full-size car, there's a lot of complex things going on. With these, it's just the engine, and because it's old, it's a simple engine.
We got the shocks all painted. I got the front ones on. I did not put the rear ones on yet because they were going to be in the way when Garen was working back there with the wiring. And
I think the hardest part about doing a build like this is we're tearing it down to the bare minimums and almost nothing on the frame and repainting. It's taken all apart, you know, yeah. It's a little bit overwhelming with all of it disassembled. When you go to reassemble it, it's kind of like, where do we start?
yeah,
you know?
hard to remember where everything was.
It comes together, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to for a little bit. I got all the fan shrouds on, the fan on, and all the cool little green bits that Ellie painted. They look so good on there. All the other auxiliary things that had to go on, like oil filter, the generator, plumbing the gasoline, putting the gas tank on, just a lot of little stuff to get the engine to where it can be started.
So when we were putting the transmission in, this boot right here ripped, so I had to replace it. It was pretty simple.
Fixed our broken parts. I got into doing engines, I think when I was 13. It's really intriguing, just being able to take them all apart and put them all back together. It's a broken puzzle, and you gotta go into figure out what's wrong with it, fix it, and then put the puzzle back together. And there's so many parts that a lot of times you have to just guess, see how they go back together, look up different things, because there's no way of remembering where it all goes your first time. I haven't stopped since. There's always a new engine and always a new problem.
And we got the shifter cable on. It went really smoothly. Garen fixed this little piece here and drilled out spots because that was all broken and wonky.
Yeah.
Shift linkage works. It shifts now. Now we can go forward.
Yeah, we need a clutch.
Yeah.
And then it'll work even better. It is mostly put together. The wiring was a bit of a struggle because I've never done it before. Just a new learning curve I had to take and did some research. It was a good one to start on because it could not get any simpler than this build. You have to buy a key for it and a couple more switches in order to finish and finalize all this stuff. But right now, this is our ignition. So it's like turning the key into the run position. Hook those bad boys up. Don't use this information to steal this, by the way. We're gonna have secret traps wired into it. Bryson's got a whole plan. And then we just hit this red button right here. This is the start button. Here we go. Woo! She runs! Engine started up, first try, little starter fluid in there because the fuel system has to prime. But as soon as the fuel system primed, it started and ran really pretty good. To do some carburation adjustments in order to get this thing purring like we want it. Very close right now.
These builds are really fun because they look trashed when you get them, and when you get to fix them all up, paint them, and creating something from a pile of junk. It's really fun.
Yeah. I still gotta do, like I said, a few little adjustments. It is a runner and a roller almost. We still have to fix the rear tires. We had to buy some more parts to do that. Brakes, those are important. Throttle, clutch. Little things, but it is really close and it's coming along great. We're just about ready for our first test drive.
Week?
Hopefully, that's our goal. Next week is the first cruise. I think we're gonna get there. I have a lot of faith.
We're gonna put the seats on. Really coming together now.
We're back at it again. Got a few more pieces to go on before we can kind of give this thing a little bit of a test drive. It's not going to be really a drive because the wheel will just fall off if we really drive it. So we're just going to give it a test to like kind of roll out, I guess. But in order to do that, we do need brakes, gas, and clutch. So that's what I'm going to be working on. We got everything essential done. Seats in, oil coolers on now. It's all plumbed in and everything. All the linkage is done. We are in a really good place right now. What's next is to just start it up, put it in gear, and just see if it engages.
Should we get in?
Yeah, let's get in. This is built for someone with pretty long legs. So there's that. Might need some phone books here.
All right, should we start it?
It stopped too. It's gotta go. So you go neutral, and then you press down, and then you go all the way over. It moves. Woo! You can hear the tire popping. For all these lug nuts here, were stripped out. Because this is a different rim anyway, and the stud holes are big enough, we can just go up a size. We bought a tap so we can drill and tap the hubs a little bit bigger for our lug nuts. So I'm just gonna pull the wheel off now, drill out and tap 5 new holes for our new lug studs. It's time to tackle the rest of the wiring. Ellie's gonna get the headlights wired up front. We got a couple headlights we're gonna use, and then I'm gonna get center console finished. I wired up, the key and the headlights wired up. All right,
we're taking her out for a drive.
first test drive. We might be running out of gas.
Oh, is that what happened?
I think so.
It looks awesome.
That looks so cool. I love these lights. That's sweet.
That is so cute.
Gas.
So cool, you guys. Oh my god.
Wow, that's a wow.
You just gotta put more gas in it.
Oh, guys, it's so cute. When the boys were really quite young, we had bought a welder for them. That day that we bought it, Bryson had already designed a go-kart. Garen was out there building it. The two of them working and welding. They put this whole go-kart together within, I think it was like a day or two. When they were driving it up and down the driveway, they just took to that right away.
They had no idea that the welders were like so inexpensive. $100, the guys could have started so much earlier and gotten involved in this whole welding thing much sooner.
This relationship that Garen had with Ellie. When we were younger, they palled around and Ellie was always kind of getting into it.
We did an engine swap one time on our truck, and she was right in there right with the guys.
Yeah.
We were commenting about how nice it looks. Ellie said, well, I just did the painting. And when we start talking about different details of it, she knows the answers. So she's not fooling us. She knows a lot about those engines. She picks up a lot, and she's a sharp cookie.
Yep.
It's just so cute. Everything about it.
Looks great.
Like little eyeballs. It's a really neat project for the two of them. It was enjoyable watching them work on it together.
I mean, that might get us
You
home.
got some gas.
Might get you home. Was there hardly any in there?
Oh, it's bone dry.
I got to drive it.
Cool. I haven't even seen it.
It was fun.
Wow! That is amazing.
Garen gave me a ride around it too, and it was really a lot of fun. He was zipping around.
Whoa! Can you adjust the clutch?
It's got a lot of power.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, this is fun. It was so fun.
you would like to help us out, you can like this video, share it, subscribe, or support us on Patreon. See the links in the description.